Starting from the presidential election in 2023, Argentina gained worldwide attention due to one candidate, Javier Milei. The most well-known aspect of Milei was his act of carrying a chainsaw and making numerous surprising statements, such as the country to be a criminal organization financing itself through taxes levied on people by force. He also expressed will destroy the central bank, reduce government departments, make deep cuts to public spending, replace the peso with the dollar, support certain drug policies, firearms, and prostitution, oppose abortion and euthanasia, and legalize the sale of human organs. Many of these policies seem impractical for most countries. So people referred to him as the madman or Argentina's Trump. On November 19, Milei secured 56% of the votes. However, after implementing his policies, many Argentinians opposed them, taking to the streets in protest. So, why did such a dramatic shift occur among the public? Argentina is one of the major agricultural producers worldwide, consistently ranking among the top 10 exporters for various agricultural products. For instance, it holds the title of the largest producer of yerba mate, the third largest producer of soy, the fourth largest producer of maize, and the fourth largest producer of beef globally. Additionally, the country benefits from rich natural resources such as petroleum, gas, and various minerals. In the manufacturing sector, Argentina excels in producing steel, automobiles, beverages, and other goods. However, despite this diverse economy, particularly as a major agricultural producer, approximately 40% of the population, out of a total of 46 million people, still lives in poverty, with some families experiencing hunger every day. For the entire nation, private sector employment has not grown in a decade, while the share of public workers has risen from around 15% in 2003 to over 20% today. The economic policies are complex. Due to a host of complicated import and export restrictions, it takes businesses an average of 166 hours to fill out customs forms, but other countries need 3 hours only. This complexity, coupled with various controls on capital, prices, imports, and exports, hinders investment attraction. Consequently, the central bank resorts to printing more money to cover it, fueling inflation. In response, Argentinians seek to exchange pesos for dollars, but government-imposed capital controls limit monthly purchases to $200, fostering a thriving black market with an exchange rate of 1,000 pesos per dollar. The exchange rate is also complicated, as there are at least 15 different rates. For example, the dollar Coldplay. When the Coldplay band performed in Argentina and was paid in US dollars, Argentinians who wanted to attend the concert had to pay an extra 30% on top of the ticket price due to the exchange rate. There's also the dollar Qatar. During the last World Cup in Qatar, thousands of Argentinians flocked to the country to watch the games. Argentina then decided that anyone exchanging dollars to attend the games would face a doubled exchange rate. Argentina has grappled with inflation for decades. Here's the recent data for Argentina. Inflation is running at 150%, with a prolonged fiscal deficit, low cash reserves, and high government debt, including $44 billion owed to the IMF. The currency has been devalued for many years, from 38 pesos to $1 in 2018 to 366 pesos to $1 in 2023, and the economy is in a deep recession. In this challenging economic landscape, the recent surge in support for Milei suggests a growing dissatisfaction with Peronism's governance. Despite reservations about Milei, some Argentinians still voted for him, hoping he could bring positive changes to the national economy. Milei is a far-right libertarian who has consistently presented a flamboyant and outspoken image on television. He often uses explicit language and employs confrontational rhetoric during expressions and debates. His style resonates well with the younger demographic, especially those below the age of 30. So in this election, 40% of young people chose to support Milei. What surprised me the most was his reason for running for president. Milei had a beloved dog named Conan, but it died in 2017. He then spent $50,000 to clone Conan, and 3 of the clones were named after conservative economists Milton Friedman, Murray Rothbard, and Robert Lucas Jr. One day, Milei visited a medium to communicate with his late beloved pet. During that telepathic conversation, Conan relayed God's mission for him to become the president of Argentina. Milei also mentioned that he seeks counsel from his dogs on matters of policy. Milei is all about liberation. He thinks as long as the government loosens its grip, the market can regulate everything on its own. And then the problem of inflation will be solved. Upon assuming the presidency, Milei swiftly implemented over 300 policies, which included streamlining ministries from 18 to 9 and reducing the public sector workforce by 34%. He pursued deregulation and initiated the privatization of deficit-ridden state-owned companies, such as the postal service, water utility, pension funds, airline, energy firm, and railways, most of which were infrastructure companies. A significant move was the official exchange rate reduction to $1 to 800 Argentine pesos, causing a 54% devaluation. This triggered immediate and substantial spikes in national prices, leading to daily fluctuations and reports of skyrocketing costs within hours. Examples of the impact included a 73% surge in beef prices, a 140% increase in some vegetables, a 60% rise in fuel costs, a doubling of baby diaper prices, and a 60% hike in the price of gas. Even a monthly Netflix subscription in Argentina surged by 60% to $8.30. The austerity measures resulted in 11 provinces declaring economic emergencies a few days later, fueling widespread protests. Despite criticisms of selling out the country, Milei pressed on with his plans. Economic Minister Luis Capto stated that the situation would worsen in the coming months, particularly regarding inflation. The central bank announced plans for a steady 2% monthly devaluation of the peso against the dollar. While Milei may appear unconventional, he is an economics professor with over 20 years of teaching experience, an economic consultant, and the author of more than 50 academic papers. His approach is rooted in shock therapy, aiming to bring about rapid economic change. Shock therapy originally referred to the treatment of certain psychiatric disorders using drugs or electric current to induce shock. Later, this term found its way into economics. In the face of severe inflation, a country employing shock therapy typically relaxes control, reduces government subsidies, allows the market to regulate prices freely, moves towards trade liberalization, and stabilizes the exchange rate through currency devaluation. While this can lead to economic stability in the long run, its short-term impact can plunge the country into temporary chaos, as inflation may worsen before improving. So Milei's strategy involves deliberately intensifying domestic inflation. That's why the current price is chaotic in Argentina. Historically, some countries attempted shock therapy to combat high inflation. Some succeed, some failed. Notably, Russia in the early 90s faced economic downturn after the dissolution of the Soviet Union, implementing shock therapy. However, in the 4 years that followed, GDP plummeted by 42%, industrial production declined by 46%. It's worse than the Great Depression in the United States. On the other side, Poland and Bolivia pulled off the shock therapy move and got rid of high inflation. The biggest difference is that they got some serious financial backing from Western countries. So, when things got crazy in their countries, they had someone to help them out with the cash. However, Russia wasn't as lucky. They only got support from a handful of international groups, but it wasn't enough to keep the whole country afloat. Plus, Russia went all in with their shock therapy, making things more extreme. They were rush-shifting from the old Soviet way to a Western-style free market setup, causing a way bigger impact on society. In May 1995, a poll in Russia found that 66% of people felt they got poorer after the Soviet system changed, while 16% thought they got richer. As for Argentina's future, it's a bit up in the air. Milei's got some wild ideas, like legalizing drugs, guns, and prostitution, and even letting people buy and sell human organs. But he has his own set of theories on these things. For drugs, He said consumption is an individual action in which the state and the judicial system shouldn't have to get involved, so long as the addiction doesn't generate an expense for the state. Now nobody knows what kind of country Argentina might turn into if these plans really happen. This is why some people are calling it a massive social experiment in action. Thank you for watching.